Pageant Becoming series, where we explore the deep truths and the principles that will enable you become everything you're made to be, to do, and to have. My name is William Awana.
I have actually learned a lot today, personally, from this episode, from this the Becoming series today. I have learned a lot, and I have been inspired personally.
Components achieved. Resistors are 10 naira, 5 naira. Transistors 100 naira. Which you do the amplification. Transformer is just for amplification. I do the conversion. I convert the DC voltage to AC voltage. That is how I'm able to produce a power supply.
That's an amazing journey there.
I have the meal for myself. So what I do is go into the village.
A lot of collaborations and partnerships.
Empower with the women. It's like, let me buy the food.
Wow.
Please do this for me. In turn, I'm paying them money. So they mill the oil for me. I check it is what I want for my consumers, for my customers. So that's how I'm able to maintain that.
Great. Obviously, you have a lot of teams. I mean, a lot of people working with you on this.
So with time, gradually, as we're growing, definitely, is to acquire, to rent more farmlands, like for the palm fruit, where we can harvest, and all of that to ours, and then have our own plantation. But for now, we're just doing what we have.
Great job.
Impacting not just about us.
And some people don't also know that where we are, just like you have the Google Earth, for an example, there's a dotting where you are right now that is called something right up there. So if you have the Star app or the Gazers app, for an example, you're going to see some dotting, the listings, the namings. And the first question is like, who named these things? Fly this, that, and that, and that, and that. Every space, every joint, every area in the space, framework is named. The question is, who named it?
Questions from my heart, ringing every day. Who am I? Who am I? Some more, believe some more, love some more. It's bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Pageant Becoming series, where we explore the deep truths and the principles that will enable you become everything you're made to be, to do, and to have. My name, as always, remains William Awana, and I'm here with my very beautiful co-host.
I am Meflin Awana. Very warm welcome to you today, joining us to explore deep truths and deep insights, very explorative engagement of African entrepreneurs, preferring national, global, intercontinental solutions across a varied spectrum of engagements.
Excellent. So let's talk values just before we jump into the conversation with the entrepreneurs in the room, right? I was doing some research about why some certain people succeed in life, and particularly with respect to business people. Why are some business people able to succeed even despite adverse circumstances and other people aren't? I think it's because they've understood the concept of value. What is value? Value is something that everybody has. Every human being has some inherent value within him or her, right? But if you're not able to, first of all, identify what the unique value you're carrying is, number one. Number two, communicate that value. And number three, harness and project that value. You're not going to go anywhere, right? And, when we're speaking about value, because value is sort of like a buzzword, people talk about value creation, value maximization, value this and value that. You hear a lot of talk around value, particularly around business circles or public sector circles. But what is value? If I were to put it very plainly, I would say usefulness.
Wow.
How useful are you? Because when people talk about, how valuable is this person? How valuable is this product? How valuable is this industry? What they're simply asking is, how useful is this person to my life? So once you're able to, first of all, identify the usefulness that you have and you can communicate it, there's always someone out there or some people out there who understand that you have something that they require. And that is when the world starts to pay attention to you. So I think that's a great jumping off point for us.
That's a big deal when you talk about the world paying attention on what you're doing or what you're doing. I mean, I come across young people most of the times, and they're like, I don't have money, I don't have this, I don't have this, or I don't have that. And the first question I ask is, what value do you bring to the table? And the second question is, how many people are you serving? Because if you wake up and you serve 10 people and you serve 20 or you have 30 people, that looks good. But over a period of time, in terms of period of time of growth and all of that and expansion, whether exponentially or in variance frames, you want to begin to calibrate what numbers you're taking on in terms of markets, available markets, what you're able to address per time. And so if you're doing Africa, you're looking at, let's come right back to Nigeria, looking at 200 million, Nigerians, as it were. You're looking at, if you're not able to serve 20 million Nigerians, that means you have a long way to go, because in another 50 years from now and 10 years from now, that population will be prorated. So if you're not able to serve, 20 million people, as it were, or even 10 million, or come right down to 10,000, or you come right down to 1,000 people, then you don't have anything to say, because you can't say you don't have anything, because you're not even serving anyone. And so serving value to the numbers and preferring solutions becomes the bane of that framework. So right now we have Pabsy Shoes. Pabsy is doing a great job in shoemaking in Africa. It's preparing a great solution. We're going to be, discovering more talents, doing lots of stuff today. So right back to Pabsy. Pabsy, tell us, value. What value do you bring to the table?
Good morning, good afternoon, and time you are watching from. The value we are producing shoes, as you can see. This is a very big value we are creating in the lives of Nigerians and Africa at large, because without a pair of shoes, your outfit is incomplete. So every particular person in a day ought to use a pair of shoes, one or two in a day. So this is a very big value we are creating for the society.
Amazing. So how are you doing it? What's going on?
It's we are in the stage of let's say 7 over 10. We started about 3-4 years ago. So we are growing. As you can see, our shoes are going global. We are leaving the shores of Nigeria, and it's a big deal for the company.
So what problem are you trying to solve, and what value are you bringing to the table?
Okay, I'm solving the problem of, especially in this part of the country, solving the problem of being able to produce valuable shoes, being able to produce, let's say, foamy shoes that can be comfort to someone's leg. The comfort that is that keyword in our production, because we give you the comfort that you need. Because wearing of shoes, you can wear shoe for more than 5 to 6 hours, and it might hurt your feet sometimes. But we try to let our customers understand that our shoes are very softened, so that it can give you the go ahead and give you all you need for the business of the day.
So Pabsy, you're somebody whose story that I've followed, over a bit of time. I was very inspired the first time I heard his story. And I think it's also something that a lot of people out there need to hear as well. So if you could just, for us, give us a summary, hitting the key highlights of what your journey has been. And then number 2, because, we're talking about shoes, and yes, we understand that you're solving a critical need in the society, because everybody needs comfortable, not just comfortable footwear, but something that also looks stylish. But we also know that it's an industry, and as such, there are lots of players in that industry. But you have found a way to stand out. So how have you been able to do that to the point where you're not just producing for the local market, but you're now beginning to export internationally?
Okay. So let's start.
Let me start with the story. Okay, my story is already a very inspiring one. Yeah, because after I left school 2013, and I graduated of Maritime Academy of Nigeria Run. So our own aim of always was going to the sea. That is where we were made for. So going to Lagos and coming back, searching for jobs. I had a terrible accident that almost took my life. People died, and I pick up from there. I laid in the hospital bed for 1 year without working, and it was a very terrible thing to me. So where I was procreating, someone was just doing shoes outside where I was living. I would be on my crutches. I would just jump outside. I'll sit with him. Discussions, trying to talk about life. And I saw he was doing shoes locally, and sometimes I would just be looking at what he's doing, not with the interest of, So one day I just pick up my phone. I had a lot of followers on Facebook then. I snapped one of the shoes he made. I posted it, and the next minute people were asking me about the prices of the shoes. Wow. That inspired me. I said, if someone is asking about this, if I sell this, I can be able to make money. That's when I say, okay, fine, let me at least, since I cannot do anything with my leg because I was still on crutches, I said, okay, I want to learn this. How do I do it? So that is how Pabsy Shoes is here today. So it was just like a child's play. so that is how we are here today. Now back to the second question about how we are coming up with what we are doing till today. It's a very big market. Like 4 or 5 years ago when we started shoemaking, it was a thing that people were not really keen into it. It was like what we are doing is not up to the standard. But for the past 1 or 2 years now, the business of shoemaking has really enlarged, especially in this part of the country. So this is a very big motivation for us, because we try to make our own out of the standard. We try to source to the best materials, especially the materials we use in making our shoes. This is one thing that really stands out. So Pabsy Shoes is here because of the quality of materials we really source to make our shoes. Yeah.
Great job. Very interesting, inspiration framework there, because you see a clear framework around someone who just saw someone doing stuff, and he was able to move ahead from there. But it's just what we say every time. You don't need to be the one taking the photos. You can be the one editing the photos and then making the big deal. You can be the third-party applicator there, and then you're still getting the framework. You can be. You don't need to be the one holding the lantern for the chicken, for an example. So you can always just know about 1,000 people holding lanterns for chickens. And you just sell the process and sell the eggs, and you sell the this and the that.
It's just all about identifying your position.
Absolutely, positioning. So you can take a positioning like the sun, and then glow for everyone while you burn. Invariably, I think that's what we see when Facebook's mark, comes through with that big solution, and then for just a slim moment, he goes out of power action, and then people beg him to come back to make billions of money, funding, dollars and nairas and all of that, just because he couldn't do that in just over a day or few hours. It's great when you're able to drive a democratization model that does not just visit what you do, that can also hop on what other people do, and so you take it up from there. That's another way of an innovative way of preferring solutions, and that's something to learn from Pabsy today. Right back to you. Value. What value do you bring to the table? Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone.
Okay, I'm actually into jewelry. That's jewelry collection. The name of my business is actually L's Jewelry Collection. L, that's capital E-L-L'(S), L's Jewelry. And what do? I actually get jewelry from a wholesale. Then I'm able to actually sell them in retail form to people, especially students in school. I actually based in the hostel. So staying in the hostel, I noticed that students they like going out for dinners, a whole lot of outing here and there, conferences and everything. And I usually hear them complain about the fact that they would like to get a particular kind of jewelry, but because they cannot find it, or probably sometimes they'll say they'll go to Plaza, like we have a place called Plaza, and they will go there, they wouldn't actually find what they mind. So listening to them, I'm like, okay, if I can actually identify a wholesale seller of jewelry, I could actually help them get this jewelry to the wholesale. They could actually reach out to me, and I just have to add my own price, and at the end I'm able to save their need, and they're also able to save my own need by through me making profits through their sales. So I actually start going into jewelry. I started selling them, and at the end I'm able to actually solve their need, and they're also able to also solve my needs.
Which is a win-win.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting. It shows that every community has a service that if you also deploy services, and that's if you also deploy those services, it becomes a big deal. Having interacted with students in that campus, I can clearly see there are several and variant services that anyone could actually hop on.
Yeah, I also noticed, I picked up something from what she said. She said that, she observed, she noticed, keyword, and for the person that has that entrepreneurial capacity or mindset, that is usually the thing that kicks off their interest. They see a gap in the market. Most people, or usually other people, are just like, oh, okay, you don't have this, okay, sorry. But she saw something, a gap, and she was like, okay, this is something that I can exploit.
Absolutely.
And at the same time, I can serve a need, and at the same time, I can make some money for myself, right? So really, when people talk about, I don't have money, I don't have access to funding and all of that, what we say to them is, look, you're not using your head, because all you have to do is to identify a gap in the market.
Absolutely.
That gap is translated to money.
Absolutely.
Once you're able to fill the gap, the money comes. That's value. That's value.
And in our parlance, money comes. But back to you. What do you bring to the table? Africa has lots of problems, and we want to be able to solve and just move this whole narrative forward for societal development. So what do you bring to the table?
My name is David Essien. First of all, I'm a graduate of accounting, and why I started this company was during my time in the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN. They normally bring job opportunities, and they brought an opportunity where you would do financial modeling, that's statement of financial position, statement of profit or loss, cash flow statement, and the rest. So when they brought the job, it was actually a huge job. They wanted to move the mechanic village, and the person who got the job said he's going to deliver in 3 months. I said, how can you deliver something that they are teaching us in ICANN in 3 months? Well, I actually did not know it was that cumbersome. So I told the person I'm going to get the job. He said, are you sure about what you're saying? I said, yeah, because the other person charged about 800,000 to do the job, and I said, I'm going to charge 400,000 to do the job. I never knew it was that cumbersome. But at a point, I saw the need of going into fintech. Like, I need to leave the pen and paper and calculator, and I said, no, at least there's someone I've seen advertising how you can use Excel to do all this financial modeling and you get your job done in 2 hours. I had to enroll for that course.
Great job.
I got an advance payment from the man, 200,000. I used it to enroll for the course at 50,000 naira. And I ended up giving the man the job in 4 days. Something that I told the man, okay, I'll give you in a week. But why I got that job was, whatever happens, I know I'm going to deliver. Even if I have a bottleneck, I can easily go to my senior colleague and tell my senior colleague, okay, this is where I have issues. You can actually help me solve this. But I found out I did the job. They took the job to World Bank and it was cleared. Yes, and even when the man called me on Monday, he said, David, your job has been approved. They are going to move the mechanic village. You know, I'm trying to solve this problem in the accounting sector where we leave the era of the pen, paper, calculator, and then we go into softwares like QuickBooks, accounting, Sage 50. And also, as an accountant, an aspect of my business is company incorporation, where I do registration with the Corporate Affairs Commission. I do TIN, that's tax identification number, and the SCOMOL registration with a branch of the EFCC. And SCOMOL is the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering. So I undertake that as an accountant also because it's limited to lawyers, chartered accountants, and then chartered secretaries. So, you know, I actually saw this gap that if I can make 400,000 naira, no, that means there's something there. There's a juicy part of it that people are not telling us. So I had to go into that. So my business is a service-based business where I do company incorporation, inventory management, payroll analysis. But what gives me the job or the pay is actually company incorporation. But what motivated me was business plan writing. Right. Because they found someone who is into business plan writing and he doesn't know how to do the financial modeling aspect. I saw the loophole. I took the job even when I knew I wouldn't be able to do it. Like, okay, I knew I would be able to do it, but I never knew it as of then. So I had to take up the challenge of I must learn this thing. I got enrolled, the lady, her name is Chioma. So she teaches data entry. So I enrolled for the course, and at the end of the day, I was able to do it.
I'm going to put our anchor today on the spotlight because I mean this is very interesting.
I was about to talk.
Yeah. I'm going to have to put you on the spotlight because you're talking some innovative stuff, and he's doing some innovative stuff too. That I mean, I know I said something to him, but I know that when he brought it back, it was a different thing altogether, and it's called call consulting.
Yes.
So, I mean, how does that work that you do? You use an app, right? And then you get a 400,000 job and then it's cleared by World Bank. Now, we're going to ask him also to give us a framework on how you sit in Nigeria and you do a knowledge-based consultancy frame and you're paid in dollars, from an American company.
Yeah.
So because these things are very, sometimes people don't even know it works, but it's working.
It even exists.
Or even, it's even. So can you just, beam on that, please?
All right, quickly. But first of all, I wanted to commend David for the strides he's taken because, it's something that I'm also into. I was a banker for 2 decades, right? And financial modeling, performance management, that was what I was doing. And that was where I actually jumped off from when I started to move away from banking into entrepreneurial activities, right? Oh, of course, because a lot of entrepreneurs or the entrepreneurs that we tend to see are focused on product, right? Something tangible, something you can hold and touch and feel. But there's this other aspect that not many people are keen to, maybe because there's a skill set gap or something else. But the area of finance and the area of strategy is very, very, very key to a business. If your finance is not right, if your strategy is not right, that business is going to have issues sometime down the line. So I think that what you're doing is there's a huge market for it, and if more of us can key into it, we'll really go places. Now to dial back to the question that she raised, because I started off as a financial consultant, I went into speaking, public speaking, grew a business, wrote books, etc. I teach classes on leadership and business, etc. and started to expand from that idea. And then one day I was doing some research. I got a call, all right, from a US-based company that said they were looking for a consultant to advise them on XYZ. And I was like, okay, this is something that I do. Let's have a talk. So we had a talk. I had an hour worth of conversation. Next thing I knew, my domiciliary account was credited with X amount of money. I was like, Is this how? is this how it
That's how
happens?
it works, yeah.
So I did some deeper research, and lo and behold, I discovered that there's a whole industry. It wasn't a one-off. There's a whole industry. It's
Yeah,
called
there's a
a
whole-
knowledge-based
Yeah.
industry.
Knowledge-based
And
industry.
what happens is that there are companies out there who are seeking information on some other companies, either because they want to make some investments or they want to advise their own internal clients. But they're looking for people who have knowledge in a particular niche, whether it's finance, management, strategy, or whatever, and they're talking to experts and saying, okay, advise us, what is your take on this company, on this product, where do you think this market is going, and all of that. So you spend 30 minutes there, an hour there, and then you get paid. So by leveraging skill sets,
yeah,
technology,
yeah,
your ability to communicate, your ability to advise people, and all of that, you can easily start up another income stream for yourself entirely.
Yeah.
So from starting out as business plan writing, because that's what I was doing, to speaking, to advising, to teaching. So it's like 7 or 8 different income streams. So thinking of, because we were having a conversation earlier about how one idea as a seed can just proliferate into various branches.
Yeah.
You know, so starting off as an entrepreneur, you don't need to be limited in your thinking.
Absolutely.
Which is why I also like the sort of thing that Pabsy was doing.
Yeah.
You know, he had this idea. It wasn't as if he had a vision and the person said, go away to the He saw somebody doing something. He was in a situation and I was like, okay, rather than feel sorry for myself, why don't I just leverage this opportunity and look at where he is today? So, you know, entrepreneurs, especially in this type of this part of the world, I think mindset, skill set, and then what I call heart set is also very important. You have the heart, because lots of people don't have that. They might have the idea,
That's
or
funny.
they might like it, but they won't have the heart, what we call the heart,
Yes.
you know, to go into it. So these are the sort of things that we need to continually encourage.
Great job. We'll go right back to Pabsy. Pabsy, just before he takes it up again, or maybe you take it up and then he comes back here. You talked about making money from registration, licensing, and all of that.
Yes,
Do you
yes.
think that policies from government, as it were, has influenced entrepreneurs to be able to go licensing all the way? And that also has that back end effect and underlining effects to giving you those jobs?
Yes. Because the past government, they had some grants, like starting from the ACMA's loan, the COVID-19 loan, and Smedan. It actually gave some grants.
Oh, that's where it started.
You
So
know,
when
so-
people they had to ask for team, they had to ask for these.
so you cannot get it if you're not registered.
That's it.
So, and I don't think 2 days will pass without me registering the company. I don't think so, because even when I was seated, waiting for the
I'm
session.
sure the federal government is listening now. They need to do more.
So no, you just can't. And some people, you cannot close a deal.
Yeah.
They'll say, no, I cannot pay it into your company, your personal
Yeah,
account.
yeah.
Don't you have a corporate account?
Absolutely.
And they will now run. Can you give me Express? It's actually the same thing.
Absolutely.
The only problem is I will shift your registration to maybe tomorrow or next one, or when I'm free. But if you need it now, I will tell you, no problem, I will give you now. But
But you have
you'll
to
pay
pay
double.
premium.
And,
then-
you know, this is a typical case of this issue of people, of scanners. I like to call them that. So what do I mean by that? You have an app. It's a scanning app. Oh my God. Just take a look at your phone. Download the app. But you can't do it. You have to go to the streets, you know, to get somebody to scan the document before you. Oh my God. In this 21st century. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think it's revelatory. The discussion right here is very revelatory in the sense that there's certain DIYs you can actually do with apps and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And you can move further. You know, you don't need to do scanning, pay the guy doing the, I'm not saying you shouldn't pay. I'm just saying there are other ways to get these things going forward. So Pabsy, again, what policies of government would enable the industry that you're engaging? And for you, how would you, from where you are, from your positioning, how would you engage policymakers, investors, and organizations that would want to do business with you, going by the fact that you gave us a market validation for that shoemaking in Africa is big.
Okay, talking about the government policies, I think the basic thing that gives us, like the producers, the necessary environment and the flow to do business is electricity. Yeah, because I think electricity is a big setback for producers in Nigeria, in this part of the world, because the removal of the stubborn removal of the fuel subsidy and running of electricity, running of generators and all that, it's a big market for us to deal with. But I think I want to say that if the government can give all this enabling environment, it's going to be a big win for the industry for us. Yeah, that is just what I can just say about that. Yeah.
So back to you.
It's like what he has said. On my own part, I noticed that each time government policy like the current one that we have, that is fuel subsidy, when it was being removed, I noticed like the prices of what I used to buy will actually increase, thereby affecting, or is also affecting the people that my customers, let me use that word, because these people, they will ask you, I will ask the question, why do you increase the price? Like the transportation fare has actually been increased, so it's not really about the product. And even with the product, all this jewelry are actually they're coming from mining companies and everything, so the machines that they are using is actually it consumes fuels, and all these fuels the prices and everything has been increased thereby. So it's not just that of the fuel, but also that of the transportation. So of course the prices of each of the jewelry will increase, and thereby making me in particular to actually increase my own price so that I can also make my gain. So that's basically it for now.
So it shows us clearly that whole thing of something happening in Turkey, and you're asking, how does that concern me? It concerns you, because right down the lane, it will concern you finally. So what you have to say as we begin to wrap up? Concerning your company, concerning your collaborations with potential investors and all of that. How would you want to expand this value that you bring to the table from where you are, from your positioning?
Well, working with, because I have some staff too.
So this is what I'm also trying to put as a focus to you. The ideology of having an idea is not just having an idea that your pockets can solve. If it's an idea that your pockets can solve, it's not an idea. That is very interesting, to be able to solve Africa's problem as it were. In today's evolving and technological digital space, as it were, we see a lot around innovation, a lot around democratization models that would work, B2B, B2Cs, B2G, everything you can ever think of, just to make things work, because it is what it is. If you can't do stuff in Rwanda, you can have someone doing that same thing you're doing in Rwanda, and then you're simply collaborating, for an example, or you're drop shipping, or you're buying a space and then doing something. You mustn't be the barber, but you can actually own the space in the UK, for an example, etc. So now, this is you doing what you're doing. Licensing, registration, etc. The rest of all the things you talked about, using apps, maybe skills, gap issues, for an example. What is the bigger picture? And how do you intend to serve this value to the bigger space, the continent, Africa, and then of course the globe? And how do you want partners to come on board your project?
Yeah, that's what I was about saying. Yeah. Doing this job, I've worked with international clients where they will say, okay, come and analyze this data for us. Because a branch of my company, one of our products is data analysis.
Right.
We visualize your data for management decisions. And this part of the country, I've not done any data analysis for anybody or any company in Akwa Ibom State. No, I've not. It's always Nigeria, in Lagos or outside. Yeah. So, and secondly, the inventory management part that I do, I actually had a friend who, the sales girl, had to run down his business until he now invited me. And when I went there, I found out that the sales girl had already run down about 800,000. But this inventory now, we are using 2 different softwares, and I'm planning to have Quirky, like this is my software where I can come to your company. Yes.
What are you going to call that?
Like
okay, you're going to tell us soon in the becoming. Here we become, so we just want to know, but it's okay. We just get to know over this period of time.
Okay, yeah.
Great job, Quirky.
Yes.
Another
it actually stands for
African
unique.
frame.
Unique.
Yes, that's the meaning of Quirky.
Amazing stuff. Go ahead.
Okay, I didn't actually talk about the part that you asked about connection with big businesses and okay, I can remember like I already said that I started my business by observation, but before we talked about observation, there was actually a need of my need as a student. So finding myself as actually I'm a law student, and when people see me do business, they're like, lawyers lawyers do business. I'm like if you're not seen one before, you're about to see the first lawyer. And as a student, we all know that students have basic needs, and it was always tiring to be calling home all the time. And I actually got into school the year my both parents, they lost their job. So it was quite, this was me seeing myself like, okay, am I actually going back home or something? So I needed to do something. So the jewelry that is actually today is packaged and everything. It wasn't like this. I can remember the very first time I started doing it was that, okay, I was walking along the road.
Can you hand that? Yeah.
Okay, I was walking around along the road. Then I saw all these roadside jewelry sellers, but they actually how they call them, aboki. Let me use that word. So that they're actually selling those stuff. So I was like, okay, let me try buying from them first, because I used to hear that their stuff are cheaper, way cheaper than the people that are selling probably in a shop or something. So I reached out to them and they actually gave me at a very cheaper price, and I went back to school. I can remember I started buying those jewelry. It may sound quite funny, but I just want to be very realistic. I was with 500 naira in my bag, sincerely. So I actually get some handful jewelry, get back to the class the next day, and 500 naira, I got 1.5. I can remember vividly, and I was like, okay, if I could do this, it was just in my class. So packing into the hostel, I noticed that okay, there was actually a gap. So I had to, from the roadside person I buy from, I discovered another person that was actually making it big. As in, I'm selling more presentable jewelries and making it big. So I get involved with him, and I think I started in. He gave me jewelries based on sales on return, and I did that for some time till I was able to have my own capital. Then I continue. I had to pay him off, then start my own. As in, this was now my capital. I could actually say this is my own jewelry and everything. And I didn't just stop selling in the hostel. I noticed that it's not just about the hostel. Another thing I noticed was that I was around people that get married. As in, people get married every day, and we have things like train, ashwebi, and the rest. And sometimes if I'm close to you, like, as a bride or probably a friend to the bride, I'll ask, don't you think that your bridal train can actually use the same type of jewelry instead of using different types? And they're like, okay, if you can get us in how many bridesmaids, for example, do you have? Okay, I have like 5, I have like 4. Okay, I'll just get to my customer. He will give me like the kind of jewelry that I would need for that occasion, and I'll actually show it to the bride or the bride to be. And that's how I started it. And if you check my page on Facebook, that's Els Jewelry Collection, you will see some of the pictures are there. Especially one of the wedding I actually supply jewelries to. And I had a challenge actually as a student, because I remember uni is a federal school, and we had a challenge of always going on strike. And when it's time for strike, I'm always scared. The reason I'm scared is that my customers are going. And I'm like, God, how am I going to survive? What if sometimes the strike can be 8 months, sometimes it can be 8, and I'm like, God, how am I going to do this? Am I going to? Because I just like the fact that I will just have money in my hand, and sometimes I really even call home and they were like, okay, she's a big girl and everything. And I got the idea of going to other schools that are not actually federal universities, like Akwa Ibom State University, Akwa Ibom State Polytechnic, and the rest. So one thing I do is that when I get there, I get their phone contact, especially their WhatsApp numbers. So anybody that buys from me, I get their WhatsApp numbers. So what I do is that I try to build a WhatsApp line, online market. So instead of me coming to your school, I will just get your number, and probably in kind of a broadcast list, I'll just send the picture of what I have. So from there, you place an order, and from there, we'll have like 10 persons place order, and I'll know already that before I go there that my transport and everything is already being covered for. So that's what I've been doing, and it has actually made me to be so unique in not just in the hostel and in terms of expansion. I didn't really think of carrying this jewelry business as in higher. I was seeing it as a way of just doing it as a student, and besides, I'm going to be a lawyer soon, so what do I need business for? But along the way, some of my friends had to reach out to me like, Helen, you can do this thing bigger. Imagine if you are called to bar tomorrow and you're looking at your friendship list or maybe your contacts. The way people are actually going to price your jewelry is actually going to be different from now. Maybe somebody that used to buy for 1K can actually be buying for 5,000, 50,000, as the case may be. And you also have to invest in your jewelry. So if I'm actually selling kind of a kind of a low quality jewelry, for example, maybe I deal on steel because steel actually lasts. But as a Jane, because of the increase in my capital and as well as my customer, I will have to get jewelry that will actually stay, long-lasting jewelry that you can actually invest in. Like we all know that jewelry, some ladies invest in jewelry because jewelry, they are quality jewelry. So I'm like, okay, I can actually do that. So I can
tell you that listening to you, we can travel to Mars from here. I can tell. Oh no, because you have such an amazing mind concept. Like you're literally a sales strategist. If we're to do an A&R, and you're not just a barrister, you're really that person that any company out there would need to drive sales, to drive strategy and all of that. Not even for the things you're doing. It's beautiful that you see, this is something that people would have to sell on the streets. But you go and then you do this. How do you do this?
It's a customized.
How does that work? How is that necessary? But she goes as far as packaging it, putting it together, going across schools and all of that. Great job doing what you're doing, and it's an amazing thing.
Yeah,
what do you make of that?
Absolutely, because when people, especially back in my day, there was always this very rigid concept of go to school, get a degree, get a job and all of that. But the times have changed, and if there's anything that recent realities have taught us, is that you can't afford to rely on a single source of income, right? So by leveraging your skill sets, leveraging your imaginative capacity, right, and your ability to speak out. We talked about value creation and then value communication, right? It's one thing to have value, it's another thing to be able to communicate that. If she hadn't gone as far as even engaging as her fellow students, or even gone beyond the walls of our classroom or to other schools, she wouldn't have really grown from where she is. So communicating your value is so essential if you're going to grow or if you're going to sustain a successful business.
Great job. So one word for the African entrepreneur out there while we get to a model mentor for this episode.
Let me say, Pabsy Shoes, it's a big brand. I want to invite all the investors watching us now that the big idea about Pabsy Shoes is about every time I wake up, I see myself owning Pabsy Shoes school of shoemaking, like in a big compound. You just only do shoemaking like a school. People just come in there and take some 1-2 years training and make money out of it. And I have to build this school that every other shoemakers, when you have a job, maybe you don't have a shop, you don't have anywhere you can work, you can just come in there and pay a token and you do your work there, and you deliver to your client. So this is the idea. And so also calling on investors that invest in Fabulous Shoes. They're going to have these machines. They're going to have already Fabulous Shoes has we have a parcel of land that belongs to me, that I'm always like my CAC registration is not even carrying the shop I'm using. There's a rented place. My CAC registration is carrying the name of that land, which nothing is on top of the land yet. So this is the big idea I'm always having, that one day I'm going to build a school of shoemaking in that place. So I don't have to go and change my CAC
documentation
address again. So this is
Can you tell us Martin Luther, what did he say?
I have a dream.
I have a dream. I have a dream.
This is a big dream.
If we've seen that dream, I'm sure you're going to have it.
Yeah, I hope one day it's going to come.
Oh no, it's going to one day is sure.
So far as you can see it, it has the potential to become reality.
Quirky.
Yes.
One word for the entrepreneurs, the African entrepreneurs doing what you're doing, also solving problems where they are.
Okay, first off, I want to thank the hosts for having me.
Absolutely.
And finding me fit to be here. And one word for you out there, I would say press on. And whatever idea you have, if you don't do it, bring it to reality, you're not going to make ends meet out of it. Okay, Quirky Consult is going to be 1 year by August. And I can tell you that I've gotten some contracts from NGOs, from the directorates in the government to do some jobs. And I know we've gone far in a way. And for the investors, we have some products that are still in the idea stage, and we are calling on you to come on board and share with us. Have a software that can help companies in inventory management, in payroll, where currently what I'm using, if you take up a product off the shelf, it's going to send you an email.
Wow.
Okay, yes, deducting one. So it's very, very hard for someone to steal from you.
Wow.
Yeah, so with that now, I've gotten this idea of using different softwares, and I want to put it into one, and so that at the end of the day, we make business come out profitable, not having business that someone can build a house off your office. So that's my dream. That's what I want to do.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, ma'am. Okay, to the entrepreneurs out there who are already probably you are doing one or two things, I would like to say that you should actually be intentional about what you're doing, because and don't be ashamed, no matter how little it may look. Just let that intentionality be there. Be passionate about whatever you are doing, and don't be ashamed of whatever you are doing, because when I actually get into the business newly, and people were like, I go around hostel room by room, do you need jewelry? And people are like, how will you be doing that? You are a law student. And I'm like, let's not go there. So please, don't bring shame into whatever you are doing. And to investors out there, I would like to say that next time I'm coming to probably Becoming TV, I want to come with more with high quality jewelries, because this me trying to say that I don't just want the students only to be my
clientele,
my
community.
customer. I want to it will not be a misnomer if actually I'm supplying jewelry to the governor's wife and the chairman's wife and the rest, because of capital. So I'm actually indirectly talking about capital, because the more capital you get, the more you tend to get higher quality, and you also tend to expand your business. So that's actually what I have to say. Thank you very much.
Right back to you as we wrap up.
Right. So it's been an amazing session talking to entrepreneurs, different sides of the divide, from footwear to consulting, registration to jewelry. Right, and this just goes to show that you don't have to confine yourself to a single niche. Right, there's so many things, so many problems out there that need to be solved. Africa has lots of challenges, but at the same time, we have the potential to solve those challenges, and we can do that profitably and in a way and a manner that will enable us to scale. So keep watching, keep becoming. and we'll see you at the top.
Listening to Helen, I can completely say that there's nothing like unemployment. So take it to the bank. You might want to fight me on that, but absolutely, there's nothing like that. It's just about you. You decide if you want to be employed, engaged, or